Hello and welcome back. This is episode 28 of our Disco Elysium playthrough. It's been a couple of days since I've recorded and I can't remember what we're doing. That's right, we need to look for Ruby because we believe she was the shooter. We also needed to find where the shots came from, and it said one of them came from the boardwalk, but yeah, like we can't see anything that indicates interactivity on the boardwalk. We also need to return to the Feld mural and consult the wind if you don't know what to do. Oh, that's right. We thought she might be in that building with the mural with the parent and the kid out the front of it. And there was a skill check there, and as per my usual approach to this, I failed. I could add one to Shivers. It's getting high though. Is a supernatural ability. Old wrongs play out at high levels. Shivers may make you seem mad. You don't listen to others. Superiors may begin to worry. Why not? Why not? Alright, so we can retry this one. We're going to put on some gear. Some Shivers gear. What do we got? Unless I'm already wearing it. No, I don't think I am. Drama. Okay. Hat. Jacket. Bow tie. Gloves. Pain threshold. Nice tie. Oh, where did that go? Oh, that's right. I shaved as well, which I regret. In real life, I cannot grow facial hair. Maybe it was just a subconscious decision to bring them down to my level. Alright, we've got our tie on, which adds to Shivers. Let's head back to this building and see if we can talk to the wind. Oh, Kim, how'd you beat... Oh, what's this? Hang on. No. Alright, hang on. Let's... hang on. God, too many things to do. FOMO's kicking in. What's this? There's in the concrete here, a sewer. The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth. Kim, any idea what's down there? No idea. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here. Think we might find Ruby down there? We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that mostly is collapsed. Revachol's sewerage system has been built and rebuilt for 4 or 5 times now. He puts his glass. In conclusion, she could be under any building. But not in there. He looks through the slit and sighs. I hope not. What's in there? Maybe it's just a storm drain for sewer. Alright. I just upgraded Shivers. I'm not going to waste it by potentially scaring her off. Time to listen to the wind. $72. Thank you. Suddenly there's a sigh, carried on by the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She wraps a collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through you. Where does it go? In through the collapse roof, flowing down the concrete staircase, to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach below the boardwalk. Its winding tunnels, a wisp away. What is happening? She's down there. Say, I think she's down there, below this building. Okay, why? The wind told me. Poor Kim. He does try. Okay, he shrugs. So how do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically. Easy. Finally, my time to shine. There's a ladder next to the sign. Point to the... Climb up, enter through the roof. Perhaps you can climb them. We're not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old and I plan to live to 70. Come on, Kim. A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Some rungs are missing. Yeah, that doesn't look like good at all. Assess the situation. The distances between the remaining runs are rather wide. You have to use mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and peeling rust is razor sharp. In addition, first rung is going to be tough to reach. What, 3 meters above ground and you're 180? 180 seems about right. Not to mention the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder isn't going to be hard. Perhaps if you were not to climb the ladder instead. What if you do something more subtle? What if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder? What if I don't? What if I just teleport? The lieutenant stared at you stone-faced. Teleportation is not a thing. Even if it isn't, no one told you. Come on, Kim. Where's your adventure spirit? This really has nothing to do with adventure. We're dealing with basic physics here. It won't hurt to try. Oh yes, it could hurt a lot. Alright. Okay. Teleport to the roof. 83. All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You feel the distance between you and the bench in the first rung of ladder. All you need to do is do it. Zap, power, crinkle. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear. Your atoms fading out of existence. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Bam, you find yourself on the roof. Oh my god. Having mastered the art of physical displacement. I did it, Kim. I teleported. I just saw you climb the ladder, Lieutenant Chancellor. You just climbed it like a regular person. The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear, "Never mind. Find a way to let me in. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring without backup, especially if you think a suspect may be hiding here." Oh, Kim, what a buzzkill. Central support beam is destroyed by artillery fire. God, that would be tricky to get up there. Hang on, let's change our tie back. Kim is... I think if Kim were any other partner, they would have reported us by now for being insane. The glass is covered with grime and dust. You can barely see out. A postcard. We'll sell that. Racking up the dough. Look at that. Can we interact with these postcards? No, we can't. You should take out your flashlight. Done. Don't argue with your mind. The collapse nearly sealed the basement. One can barely squeeze by. Oh no, hang on. No, don't click on that yet. Acquainted office furniture, last century maybe. Antiquated, sorry. The overturned table is covering orange mildew, crawling with something. Where do we let Kim in? Old file folders in the cart, documents silvery with mold. This place is huge. A series of thick, dusty panes of glass. This isn't just glass, these are all computation components. Yes, filament memories. From the time when wires were cast in glass, slides with an inlaid nervous system. How'd they do that and why? Sorry about that. The how was a closely guarded secret, something that was locked in safes in human heads across the river where they were manufactured. As to why, your fingers don't know. Encyclopedia. The why is easy because they hadn't come up with a modern silicon-based system yet. For vitreous cast filament memories, though, these seem incredibly advanced. What's in here? Money? Oh, nice jacket. Wonder suggestion. What does my current jacket give me? Oh, it's got my shivers. Yeah, that's my police jacket. Alright. Well, it's good to know it's there, just in case. In the beam of flashlight, a crevice in the wall. Nice hat. Stale fabric smells of dust. No one slept here in months, maybe years. These pots and plates are full of dust and spider webs. Revolutionary propaganda on the bunk bed, Asian flyers and brochures. Mazov portrait. A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazed at you with his sad eyes. A plaque read, K. Mazov. There was a spider web in the lower left corner. Brush the dust off the portrait. His worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, looks a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across a sand grain, sticking in the frayed skin of fingertips. An old man sits on the slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder. The same slit window you saw from the outside. Could this have been the killer's hideout? This narrow window, a point of origin, the shot that killed the mercenary? That does look like an embrace slit made for shooting out of. Peek out. Outside the window, the day is clear, as mild as can be in early spring. Would this have been a good hideout for a sniper? It's a good place to hide, but doesn't look like anyone, Mazovian or murderer, has stayed here in a while. It is feasible to hit the target, whirling rags from this window. No, it's not. No matter how you crane your neck, you can't see the whole of the whirling in rags, and certainly not the relevant segment of the top floor. Alright, maybe that's the boardwalk one. Yeah, that was. Okay, good. It wasn't just me being grossly incompetent and not being able to find the thing. Alright, what's over here? Oh, there's Kim. 22 rusty metal plates slide apart from the crew. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while. Who's there? What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open. Come on, Kim, lighten up. The door seems to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the two metal panels slide open with a creak. Huh, I hope no one's dangerous heard that. How did you even get there? After you climbed up the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk. It's next to a drain pipe, possibly a storm drain. It's easy to miss before. Maintenance entrance, so pedestrian. Yes, yes. Oh no. What was that? It's cool to risk your life climbing rickety ladders. Anyway, let's investigate these passages. I don't know what that was, that weird blackout. Come on, Kim. Maybe it was Kim rejoining the party, perhaps. Alright, we're gonna look up here, and then we'll go down that rubble. Boot prints in the sand. One of the sole appears to be more worn than the others. It's the lady truck driver. There's something in the air, an unnatural buzzing. The tunnel collapsed. You have to find another way around. It's getting louder, the buzzing sound. Pain threshold. There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell. Lieutenant, do you feel something? No, what do you mean? Pain, a strange tingling. I don't feel it, but he looks ahead beyond the eye. We should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh. I saw them too. Footprints with the right sole were worn smooth. Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully. What do you mean? He lowers his voice. Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events that we have no control over. You'll upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. Volition, keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail. Alright, we've found out Everett's plan to take the harbour. Maybe we should tell Joyce about it. We know what Joyce knows about the murder, but I may have other things to discuss with her. Do you think whatever happens will affect our cryptozoologist? How bad do you think things could get? I'll leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but he just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful. We know what Joyce knows about the murder. How bad do you think things could get? Well, we're not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground. He smiles in the dark. If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done. We know what Joyce knows about the murder. Other things is... yes. There won't be time for that once things go down. Matter of fact, I don't think there's time for it now, but if you must. What do you think is waiting for us there? I think I see a cavern. The lieutenant whispers echoes down the tunnel. Maybe more cellars. I think we've been careful enough. We still have element of surprise. I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking. Or maybe not. He puts in his hand in his holster. Either way, once we go deeper, there'll be no turning back. Ruby the Instigator. Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain like you've never felt before. Though the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse.
Says the shadowy figure by the machine.
Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
Pain threshold, fail. As she said the word officer, you feel spike in the agony. It sounds like entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways. Cover your ears. Ooh, we better up our health. No, buddy, it's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience, way worse than any previous ones. What's happening to me?
I'm getting a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
Logic. The explosion of static you're hearing. It's a ULAN frequency. Blasted from that pale emitter Fat Angus mentioned. I saw your equations. It's a ULAN frequency.
Equations? You've been sniffing through my lorry, right? I expected as much. Well, I am a bit surprised you knew what you were looking at.
Pale latitude compressor.
A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pail more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pail, literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pail. People lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
He gestures towards something with great effort.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you might be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
Rhetoric. She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking, look for an opportunity to break the loose. What is the pale anyway?
Well, it's the end of the world.
Will I stay like this forever?
Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like walking out of a very confusing dream.
Alright. How did you get
I
your
built
hands
it
a hold of it?
myself.
She nods towards her
That's
torture
illegal.
device.
I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Kim, now's really not the time,
Oh
Kim.
yeah, way beyond.
She studies her death ray and the law officials trapped in it. Have you experienced a compressor yourself?
Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. Seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through.
It's all great. Can we talk about the man who was killed?
Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
Rhetoric. So she thinks of you as hunters, not cops, and herself merely as prey. Can we turn it on so I can ask you something?
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
You're looking for a deal on mattresses.
Damn this.
Lieutenant clutches his head
God
grimacing.
damn it.
She regards you and Kim with sudden
Fine.
sympathy.
If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
She steps reluctantly out of the shadows. The pain lessens. The gun she's carrying is a 2-barrel front loader, not like the murder weapon. Pain threshold. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now, thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. Visual calculus. There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep her distracted for long enough, maybe. Empathy. Be careful where you make your move. That'll be it for questions. Bide your time. 42 for pain threshold. How did you even know we were coming? I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while. By hiding bullets under floorboards? So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised. She didn't rat you out, by the way, Isabel, the washerwoman. So nice, she smiles. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back. Rhetoric, as opposed to the other knives we're finding there now. Hardy for one. Why hide the bullets, though? This could have turned out pretty bad for me if you hadn't walked right into 25 bands of ultra-high frequency. Did you shoot Laylee? No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No. He wouldn't have broken first. It was classy to share the suspicions. Oh, she smiled sadly. I knew the kitten had claws, but not like this. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me? Your own boys told us you were out on the coast. My boys? Yeah, the ones you poached from Titus, and Titus himself. Ruby boys, formerly Hardy boys. She looks at you incredulously. What? I don't even understand what you're trying to get at here. Oh, it doesn't even matter. How can they be my boys when they're not even my friends? And those guys liked me. I know it. If this is what happens to people whom people like, how the fuck do the rest of you get by? Was it you who called me the human can opener? It's not personal. I opened them up. I did, didn't I? And now you've come for me. But fuck them all the same. Honestly, I don't know how I do it. I just stumble in here. Can you please explain this shit to me? What shit? She adjusts her grip on the gun. I told you I didn't do it. Sounds pretty simple to me. Rhetoric, a strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make case for herself. Do you have an alibi for when Laylee was shot? Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon you. There were 10 minutes they couldn't account for. You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't have even been enough time. No one takes a 15-minute leak. Look, fuck you, man. I might have also stopped by the bar. She speaketh truth. Would you say Laylee was a likable person? I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types. You don't feel sympathy for mercs? It's hard work. Did you feel protective of the Union? Yeah, sure, and I didn't like Wild Pine sending those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here. You don't feel sympathy for mercs? Plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, they're paid well for what they do. Did you leave any flowers for Classy on the roof? No, gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style. These weren't just flowers, they were symbols of revolution. So now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come on. But Classy was mourning. I never did understand why, when someone dies, Hothouse worth of flowers has to die too. Okay, you didn't leave the Maybells. You have a gun. And where did you get it? The gun store. What gun store? Trigger Happy Jacks. That doesn't sound like the name of a real store. What did you think? That I'm going to squill my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of girl. I can't quite tell what kind of gun it is. A Natchway 80 front loader, 2-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing. That isn't it. That Merc was probably shot from a distance with a military-grade rifle. Otherwise, everyone at the Whirling would have heard the shot downstairs. Do you collect guns? Maybe old rifles? No, they're not practical. Break too often. Wince, there's other evidence I want to ask you about. You're running drugs for the Union. I've been through your lorry. She shakes her head slowly. So Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too. Never trust a musician. No, he didn't. I found my way in. Okay, great. You got into my lorry on your own. What now? You're going to arrest me for drug trafficking? You're a criminal. I can't trust anything you say. You had financial incentive to kill the Merc. Man, it's to get away from all that murderous shit that I left Jamrock, my previous employer, for the Union. Huh? The lieutenant is unable to articulate his question. Frederick, she deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for. You might be able to find this out later. She turns the knob down just a millimeter, then continues. I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This gun, she glanced at, the only use for self-defense against serious scum. But you're threatening us with it? Based on what I've heard about you, you are serious scum. She responds, holding your gaze. Half-Light. There's a sinister note in her voice. Even with the gun and the compressor, she's afraid of you. Alright, let's take a step back. Yeah, where? Okay. Who killed the Merc if it wasn't you? How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio. Perception side. There's ring about her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late listening in on the conversations crisscrossing martinis. Police reader, you've been following the case? Who hasn't? You know I can still see him there, in Classy's room, lying on his side. He's still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while. So what happened? Tell me your version. She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity. It's okay. He struggles to finish his sentence. Alright, don't kill yourself over it. Or shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Classy comes in all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. She grabs a seat next. I grab a seat next to her. Classy said you knew something was wrong immediately. No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be the first for her, but no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The Merc she'd been going on with laying on the bedroom floor dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah. You made it look like he'd been hung. How did you manage to come up with a plan so quickly? What? No? Faking a lynching was her idea. She looked shaken. She was surprised to be ratted out, but framed. Her idea? Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so he could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went and got the Hardy Boys. She lied to you about that too. Showerhead, resourceful. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed. Do you think she killed Laylee herself? As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing. But even if this is true, the lieutenant forces himself to finish the sentence. Weren't you worried this lynching might lead to war? She pauses her lips. The thought crossed my mind, but the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going... Drama. She doesn't want to talk about this, but not because she has something to hide. She doesn't want the guilt. She shrugs. Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me. If you didn't kill him, why hide? I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by goddamn Laputa Madre agent. Reaction speed. So this was what she was scared to tell Titus. This cop. Half-Light. That strange, distant fear is getting close now. It's a fear of yourself. What do you mean, La Puta Madre agent? She looks at you quizzically. Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peony, his human can opener. Kim, though the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. Fucking hell, and why me, you hear through the white noise. Pain threshold. It's especially bad, son. It felt like a vein exploded. Bullshit, you're trying to throw me off. No one says that. Put the health back in. Oh yes, they do. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you? Logic. If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too. Tell me, what's my name? If you know that about me, you must know my name. Harry Dubois, she replies quickly. One corrupt motherfucker with a disco pants and funny tie. Agent to La Puta Madre. Logic. All of this just means that you're effective. Criminals know you and are scared of you. Half-Life. I don't know. Sounds pretty convincing to me. I've heard of him. He's dangerous, right? Is that a joke or a threat? I'm guessing both. I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to know, but I've lost my memory recently. Yeah, sure. She doesn't believe you. I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain all to you soon enough. What did you do to this Madre anyway? You've been to my lorry. You think the biggest player in Jamrock appreciates competition? And now I have Harry Can opener in my lair. Fucking Titus. Wait, one thing possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something. When I came into town, was there anyone with me? Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them? Who was in this squad? Well, it wasn't this brawny dude. You had two guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either. The mercenaries? What else can you tell me? One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde, and the other had brooding something or another about him. And a woman was the only one in uniform. Oh, it's the police. That sounds about right. No idea who these people are, literally. Satellite officer Viquamer looks out of the windy grimy that puts his coffee down and turns to patrol officer Minot. We can either take a room here at the Whirling or go home for today. Let's go home, Jean. Or Jean. Nothing going to happen today. Called Hyde or Sam, he can give us a ride. I think I know them. They're in Martinez. Friction lot set. Don't leave me here, please, Celise. Fantastic. I've got to get on the road. Then you can find your friends, unless you have something pressing to ask me. Do you know anything about the bunker next door? What bunker? The communist hideout back there. Don't know anything about it. No one's been around here since I set up camp, but I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond to... Your voice trails off in the white noise in your head. It feels like aneurysm approaching. Far out. Keep calm, breathe after pain recedes a little clearer. Alright, 72. Nice. You did it. The compressor lights broke on its side. It's quiet, your head again. It still hurts like hell, but... Whisper over your shoulder. You okay, Kim? Lieutenant Hunter's all good. Officer, be careful. She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles. Ah, fuck it. She puts the barrel of the gun into her mouth. Convince her to put the gun down. She's truly desperate. She thinks she has no options. You need to give her options. What options? You know, maybe I can still talk her out of it. Please put your hands up. Just walk away. Maybe I can still talk her out of it. This is how you talk her out of it. It's the only scenario in which she lives. I wish I could let you go, but I have followed protocol. Whoops. She pulls the trigger before you finish your sentence. You watch as her brains trickle out through the neon hair. She killed herself. I failed to take her down. Lieutenant Yfer Dubois, Control your emotions. We did our job. This won't be the worst thing that happens on this case, believe me. You can't let this break you. There is no coming back from this one. It will stay with you in nightmares. Okay, what do we do now? We clean up. It may take a few days for processing to pick her up her body. We need to move it somewhere. That tent there. Far out. Some health, thank you. Dark water trails in the distance. There's no way out. Cooking utensils. She prepared herself porridge with bananas. Money. The plain red tent stands, but dispassionately. It's pitched by practiced hands. She was used to camping out. Look inside. You see rolled up sleeping bag and personal belongings. We should put her in the sleeping bag so the rats don't get to her. Okay, let's carry her here. We work for the mob. There she lies, cocooned in a sleeping bag surrounded by empty cigarette packs, books and half-read magazines. Magazines, you should look through them. Shine your flashlight on the books. Assortments of covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover, on another. A ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines. Lieutenant peeks over your shoulder. See anything? Sift through. Reggae Monthly, Journal of Material Science, More Technical Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. It's not a magazine, it's a leather notebook. A notebook. You pocket the worn brown leather journal. We should read this immediately, like right now. You're the boss, Kim. Interact. A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket. Examine the cover. It's made of full grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name, Schneller. Schneller is a stationery brand from Gottwald, beloved among architects and engineers. Conceptualization. She had good taste and must have taken what she recorded here seriously. Unwind the strap. The journal falls open. About 2/3 of the ruled pages have been filled. Study the handwriting. It's a large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently. Interfacing, perhaps too confidently. Many phrases and even paragraphs that have been crossed out with tiny corrections scrawled above in the margins. Flip through the pages. It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections, all dated. We could learn a lot from this. What kind of logistics? Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information, quantities, directions. There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish. What are the diagrams of? Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor. Sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape. Anything personal? Short, wry observations of people and places. Probably a way past the time on the road. Also what appears to attempt to be short. Sort through some difficult decisions. There's a few passages with many questions in them. Authority. Staff issues, always tough on leadership. You smell traces of betrayal. How far back do they go? The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking up for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable. What did she write the day Laylee died? Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though. Well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault, except. But that's another matter. Logic. She's referring to betraying her previous employer. Does this suggest she did it in self-defense? Anything about La Putre Madre? The name isn't mentioned as far as you can tell. Small wonder. Would you talk about La Putre Madre in your journal? You do see an M, though. La Putre Madre. M is mentioned on March 9th and March 15th. Read the entry from March 9th. Great. M's peon is coming to town, no doubt to investigate the lynching, but also I feel in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head. While I'm napping in my lorry or on a smoke break, well, I won't stick around just to twist my own neck, but constantly looking over my shoulder. Then again, isn't that what I've been doing ever since I got the call? Reaction speed. The call? Did M call her personally? Why? March 12th. Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all, but I don't know when I'll be able to leave or if I'll be ratted out. They will rat me out, of course. I've made it to a point to believe the best in people, the boys for example, but experience tells me, did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people, they'd take measures to protect themselves. Even I know that economic measures first of all. Got to make a living, right? I can still hear his voice in the receiver. Taste the plastic. Look at the cover again. Oh no, that's fine. The recent entry. The most recent entry is from today. It reads, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if not accused of the murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road. Man, I was really looking forward to winning. I don't think she killed the mercenary. It looks like she might have been framed. This whole thing was a detour, and a fatal one, he thinks. So she died for nothing? She was in plenty of trouble even without murder charges. Still, a nasty business. Kim, am I really La Putre Madre's agent? He looks at you straight in the eye and for a moment, then sighs. No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure. He truly does not believe you are. Perhaps he shouldn't be so trusting. Then who do you think killed Merc? Could have been Titus, then again... but no one heard the shot. Maybe there's a hardy boy we've yet to meet who acted as his accomplice. Either way, we need to keep an eye on him. One thing for certain, we have business back at the Welling in Rags. Questions to ask. We should get to it. Oh, my far out. Is there anything down here? All right. Just have a quick look around. A concrete pipe buried in sand and dust. More moolah. Even more moolah. Return to the Welling in Rags. Ruby said there's a notorious corrupt cut, La Putre Madre's peon. That's why she's scared of you. When you get the chance, call your station and find out more, if you dare. I don't know if they're going to tell us over the radio, are they? Alright, we've been in there. Looks like we've searched everything here. We could go down here. Let's do it. We'll see what's down here. God. Oh no, this is where I came in. Oh, I see. Never mind then. Alright, let's head out. Doesn't look like there's anything else in here. Oh, Kim. What do we do? How long does this have left? 7 hours. It's taking forever. Alright. You know what? We might wrap that one up there. It felt like we were going to solve it. And then nothing. Back to square one. Any suggestions or anything for the channel or for the series would be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.